Hi, this is Brad with Copper Creek Cuts, a lawn care company in Northeast Florida. Now you may have seen plenty of videos on the internet talking about the pros and cons of straight shaft string trimmers versus curved shaft string trimmers. But what you don't often see is that same comparison applied to stick edgers. That is, devices that have a blade attached to the end of them designed only to create a nice edge in a lawn. And that's what we'll be discussing today. But how about a little history lesson before we get started? Did you know that Echo was the first company to produce a stick edger in 1990? Now, of course, before that, there were the big monstrous things with 3 or 4 wheels that you pushed along with handlebars and had an edger blade. Those were around for a long time. But as far as stick edgers, Echo was the first company to come out with one in 1990. And then 3 years later in 1993, Stihl came out with their first edger, what they presumably thought was a better design. Now you see them everywhere today, but it wasn't that long ago that these things didn't exist. Now if we're talking about the straight shaft edger, one advantage that comes up very quickly, especially if you own your own business and you run your equipment on a trailer with racks, straight shaft edgers store much easier on racks and along walls than curved shaft edgers do. So it will be much easier to store a straight shaft edger on some type of rack system that you might mount on a trailer. Another potentially huge advantage that depends a lot on the types of yards you maintain is the maneuverability of a straight shaft edger. Now when I say that, what do I mean? For tiny yards, especially if you have a small driveway that just barely fits 2 cars abreast, you may have inches, if even that, between the tires and the edge of the driveway where you need to edge. That is when a straight shaft edger comes in handy because it takes up less space and is more maneuverable in those situations. So those are 2 big advantages that a straight shaft edger will have over a curved shaft edger. But those advantages are not without their costs. One way, in a monetary sense, almost universally, straight shaft edgers are more expensive than curved shaft edgers. Now, the reason why, I honestly don't know for sure. One reason might be because since curved shaft edgers are more popular, the tubing is available in larger quantities and lower prices for manufacturers. So when they switch to an edger that has straight tubing only, maybe they can't buy as much volume, so the prices for that material goes up. That's one guess. We talked about how the straight shaft edger is better for close quarters work. Unfortunately, a side effect of that versatility means that your feet are closer to the discharge of the edger. So if you're someone who does lawn care in flip-flops or sneakers or tennis shoes, which I don't really recommend, but if that's your prerogative, you may want to stay away from straight shaft edgers as they will kick up a tremendous amount of debris right onto your foot. Now, of course, how much debris depends on your yard and the yards that you take care of if you maintain more than one. But especially here in Florida with some of our sandier yards, this thing will just dump a stream of dirt onto your feet. Now, I wear work boots, so that's not an issue for me. Having some dirty boots is well worth the advantage of being able to maneuver those really tight driveways, like I said. Now, of course, that's going to depend on how you hold it and, any number of factors, but generally speaking, your feet will get dirtier with a straight shaft edger versus a curved shaft edger. Now, the pros and cons of everything we talked about are pretty much just flip-flopped now that we're talking about the curved shaft. Curved shaft edgers will generally be cheaper than straight shaft edgers. So if price is your only concern, a curved shaft trimmer is the way to go. Curved shaft trimmers will be a little bit more difficult to store on rack-based systems for your trailers or along the wall. Not impossible, just more difficult than their straight shaft counterpart. One of the benefits of curved shaft edgers is they set you off from the actual edging and give you a little bit better line of sight rather than looking straight down and your view obscured by the guard. Curved shaft edgers are going to be a little more cumbersome. They take up a little bit wider space, so in some instances, especially on very tight driveways, they may not perform as well and they may put you in some awkward situations as you're trying to complete your work. One more benefit of being offset is, again, your feet will stay cleaner. That debris that's kicked up will not land right on your foot because you're offset a couple of inches from that stream of dirt and debris. So hopefully that brief discussion helped compare and contrast straight shaft edgers versus curved shaft edgers and help you figure out which one is going to be best for your specific application. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments. I respond to comments almost daily, no matter how old this video is. And as a follow-up, if you've ever wondered why you need a stick edger, can I just use a string trimmer? Won't it be just as good? Well, that'll be a topic for an upcoming video. So if that sounds like something that interests you, make sure you subscribe and click the bell notifications so you're aware when new videos are produced. If you'd like to see more equipment reviews, you can see my latest one here. And if you'd like to see really nasty yards get turned into, well, less nasty yards, you can see my most popular one here. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.